Inagata Devita, baby, on this week's episode of Horror Hole. I'm Wyatt, and who is here with me today, as always?
Well, it seems the hunter has become the huntee. I'm Cody Briscoe.
We're here to talk about Manhunter, which, if you're like, wow, that is a generic title, you're correct. It is actually an adaptation of the novel Red Dragon, which is the first book to feature Hannibal Lecter. So that is why I decided to choose it. Obviously, the more famous of the Hannibal Lecter book movie adaptations and Silence of the Lambs, but I figured if we're going to do that at some point, we needed to do this. And I also have never seen it before, so I'll give my opinion, my first impressions on it in a second. But Cody, how about you? What was your first impressions coming out of this?
I was really excited when you picked this because I was like, oh, that's Michael Mann. And I remember there was like some kind of Twitter discourse about him a while back about people debating something about his stuff.
Okay.
So I was like, oh. So I actually did some homework. I went and watched a few episodes of Miami Vice alongside watching Red Dragon. Because that was the thing that, made him a household name before he did this movie. Unrelated, very good show. I want to watch more of it. This movie, I was very curious, again, for all the reasons you laid out, but I really, really enjoyed it. I think the characterizations were all really strong. The script is very tight, and I think it's pretty close to the book, because I started reading a little bit of the book.
There's some significant changes that I'll talk about, or maybe not changes, but just omissions that we'll talk about as we go through it.
I have some questions about the source material that I'll ask you.
It has been a long time since I've read it, of course, so I can't say with 100% certainty that I know every single little detail. But yes, I did read this book before all the way back in 8th grade. It was for a very similar reason. Like, I wanted to be like, oh, this is related to Silence of the Lambs. I heard that was a good movie. I should read this. And then I read it and I was like, whoa, that's cool. And then I watched Silence of the Lambs. Like, I didn't watch this movie nor the Red Dragon movie that they made in like 2003 or whatever, where they had Anthony Hopkins reprise his role as Hannibal Lecter, even though he's like much older than he was in Silence of the Lambs, but it's supposed to take place before that.
It's like the fucking Saw 10, where it's a prequel to the second movie, but Tobin Bell is clearly in his 80s and Amanda is like in her 50s trying to play an 18-year-old.
Yeah, they're just wearing backwards caps.
God, at some point I got to show you how Amanda looks in that fucking movie, because it is crazy that they're trying to pass her off as a teen.
That's like people pointing that out with like modern AVGN whenever he like does a joke about the past or whatever, and he clearly looks like he's almost 50 now, and he was doing those first videos in his early 20s, so it's like, yeah, we can tell that you're no longer in your 20s, James. I'm sorry.
Now has his cool dad tattoo.
I think he should look. I totally am not one to question somebody's hairline as a balding man myself, but I do think that, like, if you're balding, you should either embrace being a hat guy or embrace being like a balding guy. Those are the two things.
Well, that's why Walton Goggins is such a big deal. He's making receding hairlines sexy.
Yeah. Speaking of receding hairlines, villain of this movie has got a crazy ass.
Oh yeah.
Like, to the point where was this a prosthetic that he was wearing? I don't know. Or what does his head shape just look like this?
I feel like I read an interview, because I besides that I did like some other research for this movie. He said something, I can't remember his name, but about how like it was either like he didn't feel like he went ugly enough, or that having to put on all those, like, having to change his look so drastically, like, affected his confidence, because he's like, oh god, I'm really fucking ugly playing this character.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
I'll just say that, to sum everything up, I have experience with this book. This is the first time watching the movie. I have seen like the first two and a half seasons of the show Hannibal,
Hannibal.
um,
Hmm.
which is great. Like that's just such a fun show to watch. I'm not sure if I would consider it like prestige television or anything, but it's definitely like a ton of fun to
Hmm.
watch. And so I'm like, I would say like, yeah, and I've seen the Silence of the Lambs obviously at this point, and Hannibal the movie, which is much worse than Silence of the Lambs, but
I'm
you know,
I'm curious now about that the 2000s Red Dragon movie and like how much of it is just a direct remake of this, like how close does it stick to this movie versus the book? Because I'm pretty
um,
sure like I know that it has the same cinematographer as Manhunter,
yeah,
the Red Dragon movie.
yeah, I'm interested to check it out too. Maybe we'll do it at some point, or maybe
Hmm.
not. Maybe it'd be completely redundant to do it at some point. But like, yeah,
It
it
would be
is.
fun to just watch it for fun, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. No
Hmm.
content made from it. Um, but yeah, I do want to get started talking on
Hmm.
this movie.
Well,
And
I have a question
mhm,
actually regarding the source material. So, is there, because the way that this story starts out, it's very clear that there are some events that happened before the start of the story.
mhm.
But is there, is this the first story with Will Graham and all this stuff? Like, or is there like a
Yes,
book that happens earlier?
as far as I'm aware, this is
Okay.
the origination of Will Graham and Hannibal Lecter. Like the existence of that is supposed to imply a past rather than actually be like, let's show us the past. Like that's what the show
Okay.
Hannibal is doing, is showing us like what was Will and Lecter's relationship before the events
Because
of Red
this does
Dragon.
feel like a sequel.
Yes, especially
Hmm.
because like just like with Silence of the Lambs, it feels like Hannibal Lecter is just the more interesting, like villainous character among with the serial killer.
Hmm.
Just because he has like a direct, like in this he actually does have a more direct or personal relationship with the protagonist, whereas with Silence of the Lambs, it's more just from like hearsay and everything. She hasn't really encountered him until that point in the
Hmm.
movie or in the book. Um, but yeah, no, this is the first. This is like I think the other book that Thomas Harris wrote before this was unrelated. I think it was like another like detective or cop book or whatever. But yeah, it's called
Okay.
Black Sunday. Um, but yeah, it's not about.
It's not related.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, this is yeah.
Is
It says
it,
one of the only two books that Harris has written that does not involve Hannibal Lecter. So
okay,
there you
because
go.
it says on the cover right here, the best-selling author of Black Sunday and Silence of the Lambs. So
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. And apparently, Stephen King really enjoyed Red Dragon. He said it was like one of the best books to like one of the best or most important books or something to be. And this was like in the early '80s when it came out, to be released since whatever arbitrary other
hmm.
book he was saying was great. Hold
I'm
on, let me see
surprised
if I
that
can.
quote's not on the cover.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah, since The Godfather, that's what he said. Like the best
oh
popular
wow.
novel to be published in America since The Godfather. So which is pretty high praise.
Hmm.
And
And
yeah, go ahead.
I think the movie lives up to that.
Yeah, I would say like I was very impressed watching this movie, and I think all the cuts they made from the book all just helped
Hmm.
improve the movie version of it. Like I think that they're completely understandable and like just enhance the movie. One of the most significant things is that we don't see the killer, Francis Dollarhide, Tooth Fairy, Red Dragon, whatever he is referred to as, until halfway through the movie. Whereas very early on, we see him, or we have chapters from his POV uh,
Oh, okay.
early on in the book Red Dragon. Um,
So it's more
and
of a
we
cat and mouse thing in the book.
yeah, so he
Hmm.
like so I mean this is a serial killer thing, so trigger warning to everybody. There's gonna be some explicit stuff in this, but we see him pleasuring himself and things like that to the recordings that he makes, like his home movies that he makes
Oh,
of
hmm
like murdering the families and everything. So we see from like early on what his modus operandi is. Like
hmm
whereas in this movie it's more of a like slow build up in the reveal. He is more like
yeah,
a monster killer, like mysterious figure until we see him for that first time, which
hmm
is a very
really
scary
standout
scene.
scene.
Like
hmm
very fucking
I
scary. So
That's so scary, but I couldn't help but start laughing in the middle of it because I realized, oh my God, I've seen this exact scene before. It was parodied in fucking South Park.
yeah.
Like 1-to-1. It's
Yeah.
I think it's the episode where Cartman is pretending to be a like a police psychic or something.
Mm-hmm. Man.
Uh, but yeah, so we like I said, it seems like there's some kind of history with Will Graham and everything.
Mm-hmm.
We start out, he's like, I gotta say, like the life that he's living on the beach with like this is that his biological son in the book? Because I didn't buy it. I thought like that's like like his stepson or something.
I don't know. I can't remember for sure. It definitely like
Because it
I
seems like he's
definitely
too
do,
old.
yeah, and I don't remember his like his son being like an important part of the book, but
hmm
you know, again, it has been very long time. It's been like 18
Yeah.
years since I've read the book, so you know, I was a little baby boy when I read it for the
hmm
first time, so I just have like little fragments of memories at this point.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah.
But yeah, so he's living this like really beautiful life on the beach.
Mhm.
Scenic. Their house is beautiful. It's lit really well with all these blues, and I love the color theory in this movie. I guess because
Mhm.
like everything that's warm or intense is really saturated colors, and then we go to Hannibal Lecter's cell and everything is just stark white,
Yeah.
and it's like sensory deprivation kind of
Mhm.
shit. It's just so miserable.
That's the
And
only
then
thing that I knew before watching the movie was like just the visual design of like Hannibal Lecter and the set and everything, which we'll talk about in a minute here. But continue.
yeah, and so like the he's pulled away from this world of like vivid colors into a world that's either colorless or is like really muted colors, or it's at
Mm-hmm.
night. Like there's like with like the first time he meets Hannibal, he has a panic attack and runs out of the place, and the first thing
Mm-hmm.
he does is he stares at grass, and we just get a big shot of just green, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
that is like what calms him.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like the big like Will Graham, his whole character, basically, and people that are fans of the show know this is that he's one of those people that's he's like Batman, where he's really afraid that he's exactly like all of the
Mhm.
like serial killers or murderers that he is hunting down, um, and just because he's able to very accurately like trace their psychology. Like he has like
Yeah.
a lot of empathy for them and is able to like understand motives and do things like that. So it like makes him a good detective. But unfortunately, it also gives him psychosis. So like yeah,
Mhm.
you see him like taking pills and doing things like that because he's just afraid of there being like such a thin line or even a non-existent line, and
Mhm.
Hannibal Lecter knows that, so he's like constantly trying to like wedge, you know, a thing into that crack and like break it wide open to like fuck with him. And
Yeah.
that's what makes like all the scenes with him good is because at the same time, like he knows that he's so smart and devious and everything that he needs that Will needs him for help, but he also is like the little devil on his shoulder,
Mhm.
telling him what's going on. How did you like this version of Hannibal Lecter compared to like Anthony Hopkins or Rogue One guy? What is his fucking name?
Mads
The
Mikkelsen.
yeah, I forgot his name again. Like it
Um,
completely.
mhm. I I really enjoyed Brad Cox. I mean, I know his role is smaller in this story, so there wouldn't really be a reason for him to have more scenes, but I do wish we had seen more from him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I like how he plays him. Uh, less theatrically because like
Mm-hmm.
Mickelson and Anthony Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know. I feel like they play that character very grandiose, whereas Brian Cox plays him more like a real world psychopath.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
thought it was
he felt very like he wasn't shot like he's this larger than life
mhm,
freak of nature. He's kind of shot like there's something wrong with him.
yeah,
But there's also
it's very
like
clinical.
yeah, there's like a deep intelligence with him. Like that, him being a genius is still an important part of his character, but there is this like unhinged quality to him,
Mhm.
especially like his mouth is always kind of like slack jawed, and he has like sort of like a
Yeah,
vacant look to his eyes. Like there's no light in his eyes.
mhm.
Um, and just like
I,
yeah,
I love
all those moments.
that little moment where he Will is asking like, "Do you know how I caught you?" And he's like, "Well, you had disadvantages. You know, insane. No, I'm not smarter than you,
Mm-hmm.
but um, I don't know. Just a good performance. Also, William Peterson does a very good job as Graham.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that because I haven't seen much of the Hannibal show. That's one that I really is a big oversight on
Like a
mine
blind
because I
spot.
know
Yeah, that is
yeah, I
surprising
know I
about
would love
you.
that show.
Yeah, yeah. I think here he feels more true to how he does. Like, I mean, it like yeah, this is a very close adaptation to the book. In the show, they definitely make him a little bit more of a like tortured genius kind of guy as well. It's like very melodramatic, and he's like a little bit more like introverted
He's
and
he's like
nerdy.
evil Frasier. Oh, you're talking
Yeah,
about Graham, not not Hit Lecter.
sure,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. But like, oh yeah, in that show, he is like way like super like imposing, larger than life, everything. You're right. Like Frasier is a good
Mhm,
comparison to it. Whereas like yeah, Will Graham, he's more of a like more of an awkward kind of like maybe autistic coded kind of guy.
mhm.
I think that I don't know. Like I won't say that they're trying to make it like Sherlock, like the show Sherlock, because Benedict Cumberbatch, he very much is you know another larger than life figure, whereas like Will Graham is like very reserved
Mhm.
in that show. But
Yeah.
yeah, he feels like more of a normal FBI guy that just has some deep trauma and like issues that he needs to work out in this movie. And it's like very compelling because
Mhm.
we can see on a surface level he feels like a completely normal guy, but all of these little glimpses into his life, we can see like why he's having so much trouble. And one of
Yeah.
the best one of the times where I was like, okay, this movie's cooking, it understands the assignment, is the very first scene in the movie is Francis Dollarhide going up the stairs to kill the family,
So
and we
creepy, so scary.
we see it from his perspective, and then just a few scenes later we see Will go through the exact same process of going up the stairs and
Mhm.
seeing exactly what the killer saw and going into the room the exact same way, but you know that
And
after
and
all of those events
that
happened.
that reveal of the bloody bedroom is so like stark and frank, but it really caught me off guard. I was like,
Mhm.
oh my God.
Yeah,
Um,
because until this point, it's very like they're just talking business. They're not like using a lot of specifics. You don't see the gory details really in like at the
yeah.
beginning, and even like as the movie goes on,
Well,
there's only one time where you see the aftermath, and it's like very well done. Where it's after he takes a nap on the bus and the
mhm.
people sitting next to like the
Oh
girl
God.
glances
Hmm.
over and sees like the corpses of the people and like freaks
Hmm.
out, understandably because of how gruesome it
Yeah.
is. And it's
For a
just like
split second, I thought that was the mom. I thought was PJ Souls from Halloween. It looks just like
yeah,
her, but it's
yeah.
not.
But yeah, that like that parallel between the two, going through the motions, is immediately sets in your mind like, okay, they're trying to connect these two, say that there's like not much difference between Will Graham and Dollarhide. So
Yeah. The all the scenes of him just kind of retracing his footsteps, like getting up in the tree,
mm-hmm.
uh, all of the procedural stuff was very, very fascinating. And this movie is really sleek in the way that it like presents the information and how it like how do I put this? The way
Like,
that the
mhm.
story progresses, it also works with the way that things are shot, like
Yes.
in a perfect harmony.
And it feels like it's constantly moving, but it still
Mhm.
leaves time for like these slow introspective moments. Like I said, I think that the movie actually works really well by cutting out all of the like chapters with Dollarhide from the beginning, and sort of just being like, oh, the first time that we encounter him is when he kidnaps the photographer and is like threatening him, and talking to him.
Mhm.
Until that point, like, and especially because like we hear his letter to Lecter and everything, we know that he has like he's annoyed by the Tooth Fairy moniker. Um,
Mhm.
in the book, it's made a lot more clear that he like really hates it for homophobic reasons, or for like possibly self-hating
Yeah,
reasons.
yeah. I figured there was something related to that with this character.
Yeah,
Uh,
that he has something to that he has like some deep resentment for that, whether that's like his own his own like problems that is like bubbling to the surface or whatever, or if he just hates being compared in that way. So just because like he thinks that like the fairy part of it is like
mhm.
indicative of him being gay. um but
Well,
like,
there's
yeah, go ahead.
one thing that I noticed that this character, just from without having finished the book, it reminds me a lot of like a trial run for Buffalo Bill,
Mm-hmm.
because he in his notes he's there's a frequent reference to things like the radiance of what I'm becoming, and like he talks about how he's going through like some kind of change,
Yeah.
and it made me think of the moths and the cocoons that Buffalo Bill collected, because there's
Mm-hmm.
also that element into that character as well.
Yeah, I think that that's like an interesting connective tissue with the Thomas Harris books, is that idea
Mhm.
of like the killers existing apart from humanity, like, or they believe that they're apart from humanity, and that them having this power over human life kind of elevates
Mhm.
them or puts them into a new league, which is why like Dollarhide contacts Lecter and says like, you
Yeah.
understand what I'm like. And then like at the end, like near the end of the movie, when Will talks to Lecter, like he asks just point blank like, why does it feel so good to kill? And then you know uh,
Mhm.
Lecter compares it to like, oh well, God, God does it all the time, etc. Basically saying that like that power to kill is something that like no human should have, so therefore it's like a godlike privilege to be able to take somebody else's life, and
Mhm.
therefore it puts you in the same realm as God. So you are now above, like everybody else are the sheep and you are a wolf.
It's
Which
kind of
is
like
mhm.
oh, what the fuck was his name? The guy who dropped bricks on people in the Dark Tower, the second
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
Like that was very similar to his motive, where he was like, I am inputting some change into the world through
Hmm.
my own will,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
the like it makes sense. Stephen King is also very good at writing psychopaths. um
Oh yeah.
that's like, and the book actually, like, that's part of the reason why I do like the fact that it, like, in the book format, I like being able to be in the head of the killer and understand his motives and everything, because that's like a common thing in Stephen King books. It's just like in the movie, it makes more sense to like format the first half of the movie as like this, quick, fast paced, like, oh, we're figuring out, we just got this information, like, send this to this guy and do the blah, blah, blah. It reminds me a lot of Shin Godzilla, actually. Like the first third of the movie is just people in like boardroom, or yeah, they're in like boardrooms or like in the office or whatever, and they're talking to each other
Mhm.
and saying like, do this thing and do whatever, and they're just trying to like push things through
Call this person,
bureaucracy.
send them to Washington. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like
Mhm.
turning that into like, you're just like, oh my god, what the fuck's going on, like, what is this guy, and then like slowly piecing together
Mhm.
like what this guy did and like what his plan is, the fact that like he only does his murders like once a month on every like full moon. um And then yeah, just like
And
the slow
then
deterioration of Will Graham's like mental state as he's trying to understand like the motives. Go on.
mhm. And then his motive ends up changing because, as we see, he Dollarhide forms a relationship with what the heck is her name? He
Reba.
has a girlfriend, Reba. Yes.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
they give him the Toxic Avenger treatment and give him
Mm-hmm.
a blind
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend,
Yep.
um, which uh, yeah, it's just interesting to see how he interacts with other people
Yeah.
and how like it he's the kind of person who would like kind of go under the radar because he's not outwardly like he's a little bit weird, he's a little off, but he's nothing like,
He's not like
you know,
cruel or like creepy
he just seems
or
like kind of like a quiet guy basically.
yeah, exactly. And like that's sort of that's a very realistic. It's like Ed Gein. As
Mhm.
far as like serial killers go, where everybody's like, "Oh, we had no idea that he was, skinning corpses and doing things like that." And
Nobody ever
yeah,
went to his house.
yeah, the whole thing with like him and this lady, like, the an important thing that he kind of fixates on mentally, from what I remember, is his hair lip. So like he has like a split in his lip. So
Mhm.
there's a scene where she asks to touch his face to see if he's smiling or frowning or whatever, and he stops her because he doesn't want her to feel that imperfection on his lip. Um,
Okay.
so that's the
Step up.
subtext of the scene. Um, and then another example being like, oh, like he has that like the stocking over his face when he's confronting the
The guy
photographer
from
and
Tatler.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And it's like but when he's in like that mode, when he is like the red dragon, you can see like how much more full of himself he is
Hmm.
and how much more like
Yeah, he's very
confident.
pompous. Hmm.
Yes. And like it's just interesting because in the book up to this point we see like him doing like these disgusting things and we see his daily life, and then you see that, and whereas this is our first introduction to him, so we're shown him as like this like weird freak of nature, again like grandiose, larger than life, and then after that we see him at his like normal job, like developing film or
Hmm.
doing whatever. it he's just like kind of a pathetic awkward guy. Like that's the
Hmm.
whole thing, like his need for metamorphosis comes from the fact that like yeah he wants that
Dissatisfied with himself.
yeah, and that acceptance and everything. Like that's why when he kills people he puts pieces of mirror into their eyes, so when he performs his actions, he can see himself in their eyes, and get a
Jesus
form of
Christ.
acceptance from them. So that, and he films it so that he can, watch it back at home. Uh,
That is
and like,
so horrific.
yeah.
um, Speaking of, I gotta say, I really liked the location of the little lab at his job because it's like a science fiction door kind of
Hmm.
to prevent any kind of light from getting into the room at all.
Yeah.
Um,
That's film. Like I know film still exists, but it used to be so much more of a thing, and it was so cool. Going
yeah.
and doing that. Like in Resident Evil 2, you're in a save room, and then you go into the back, and there's the red film development thing. It's
Mhm.
good stuff. Come on.
I can't remember. I think it was when I showed my niece Jaws 2. There's a
Hmm.
scene where they're like having to develop film and that they covered from a camera from some divers. And I remember my
Yeah.
niece being utterly bewildered, like, "What are they doing? What is
Yeah.
that?" And I had to explain. Okay, so pictures used to be this thing that was transferred onto paper and they had to put in chemicals.
Yeah.
Uh,
And if you overexposed it or did something wrong, then the picture would be completely ruined. Like,
and you wouldn't know how it looked until you get it developed. You wouldn't know how it looks when you take it.
yeah. Yeah, damn.
Um, Another little standout moment is the scene where Dollarhide takes Reba. I don't know how he has access to this, but he just knows a vet, I guess.
Hmm.
And there's a tiger, a real tiger, under
Yeah.
anesthesia that they're just getting to pet.
Yes, and that, I
Which
mean, obviously another like loaded imagery,
Mhm.
of her making direct contact with a sleeping predator.
Yeah,
Like that's like, but it's also, I don't know. It's very interesting.
because
I
they're
always
in what,
felt that.
Atlanta or something,
Yeah, I always
or
felt that they're like you said, you compared their relationship to like Toxic Avenger, and I always
Mhm.
thought that it was like very interesting, especially as a kid when this is like one of the first types of these stories I had experienced, like humanizing the villain in such a way, especially after starting it with them as such a deplorable person. So it's just like I always felt that that was interesting because the arcs are almost in the opposite directions with Will and Dollarhide,
Mhm.
where Will, you see him like normal, and then you slowly start to understand that there's something wrong with him, and then and it's not like super pronounced, but especially in this movie, but it's like clear that he at least is hyper fixated on his own mental state, and
Mhm.
then Dollarhide, like we see there's something wrong with him, but then we start to see like, oh, but he could have like a sweet date
He
night
does have a
with,
day-to-day life. Yeah.
yeah, with a girl,
Mhm.
like at his job. Um,
Yeah,
it is it.
and
Yeah, go ahead.
it's also like because of these two characters, like Will needing to find him, Will is being separated and his relationship with his family is strained, so he's losing connection, whereas
Hmm.
Dollarhide is finding a new connection.
Yeah, because there's a really good scene where, Will takes his son with him to go grocery shopping,
It's one of my
and
favorite scenes.
he just talks about his experience like very upfront. Probably the first time he's ever talked openly about his experience with Lecter to his son, to like make him understand that like he went through this thing, it's traumatic, and he might be like a different person than he was before, but that doesn't mean that like he doesn't love
Yeah.
him or anything. Like he should be somebody to be feared. He just like went through the struggle, and he's putting a lot of effort into trying to become well again after it. And I'm just like, it's a great scene, but I was also kind of laughing thinking about like, imagine being in that grocery store and just like shopping and being like, I just want to get like
Hmm.
this can of fruit or whatever. Like, I just want to get
And
this stuff. This weird guy is talking to his son. Like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, on the
mhm.
next aisle over.
And there's like some. It's a great line where he says like I at my job I have to think like the people that do these horrible things, and they're the worst thoughts in the world or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. The ugliest
Paraphrase.
thoughts in the world. Like, yeah.
Hmm.
So it's really good because it shows that like, this is the problem with him, is that he has these same thoughts. He's able to like think the same way as the killers, and he thinks that that is like the worst possible thing for somebody to do. And like, he's right. Like, obviously these people are not well, and what they do is disturbing, but him like putting so much emphasis on like beating himself up
Hmm.
over it is like
Yeah.
also just reinforcing his mental state. So
Hmm.
that's, yeah, not
Yeah.
good.
So he's shopping with his son because they unfortunately there's a whole subplot. I love this little thing about how they're figuring out how exactly Lecter and Dollarhide are able to communicate. They're like taking out personal ads in the Tatler and
Mm-hmm.
leaving coded messages for like books that Lecter has to find like information, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how so Lecter is able to use the telephone. He like fucks with it with like a gum wrapper to get Will's docs, and then
Mm-hmm.
he uh, leaves that leaves a coded message for Dollarhide to let him know what the address is. So the family has to get taken into a safe house,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which again strains the relationship with poor Molly, who she never. I expected her to be a little bit more upset about the whole situation.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And I can't 100% remember if this is the case in the book, but I feel like she was like a little bit more prominent. Um, but that's
Because I
besides
went,
the
well,
point.
because I went and just briefly skimmed the Wikipedia summary of the Red Dragon movie, just 'cause I was curious,
Sure.
and I know that a lot of things are different with like how prominent certain characters are, and I think the ending is different.
Yeah. Uh, as far as I know, I can't remember. I feel like I barely remember anything about that movie, but I do remember the confrontation with like Reba and Dollarhide was a lot different in that movie, and then there was like another act after that. But I can't remember. This is the thing with like memories so old. I don't know what memories are from the book or from that adaptation of it. So I'm not going to make any
Hmm.
declarative statement of like, oh, this was in the book and this wasn't in this. The only thing I know for
Hmm.
sure is that, like I said, we're introduced to Dollarhide a lot earlier in the book, and we have some
Yeah.
chapters from his POV like earlier in the book, whereas in this they like hold off on showing him until that
Mhm.
point about halfway through the movie.
Do you ever get like a memory mixed up? Like, oh wait, that was a memory from a different movie than the one I'm thinking of. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
so.
Like whenever you learn about human memory, it's always the most like existentially fucked up thing because
Mhm.
it's just like, oh yeah, we just lie to ourselves all the time, and we do
Like,
just have like completely false memories that we 100% believe.
as a kid, I watched Scream a lot and I watched Scary Movie a lot. And Scary
Right.
Movie does such a good job parodying Scream that there are scenes in Scary Movie that I like, no, I remember that being in Scream, not in the
Yeah.
parody. Hmm.
That's a good. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that's kind of true with some of the you know how when you're a kid you just like rewatch like the same exact
Hmm.
like 5 movies or whatever over and over again like
Yeah.
hundreds of
Same.
times.
Hmm.
Um and so there's a few of those that I have like memories that I'm like, "Oh, was this in this movie or was that in this movie?" Like there's a couple ones that are like mixed, like some Don Bluth movies or whatever. I'm like, oh, did this happen in this one or that one? Um,
Did the rodent almost drown in this movie, and or did it almost get stomped on by big human feet in the other movie?
um,
Uh,
Don Bluth still alive, by the way. So just
I,
say,
for
I remember like
our
5
longtime
years ago we
listeners.
were like, I'm pretty sure he's gonna die. So let's, in honor of his life, let's watch all of the movies. And it was like the dumbest possible way. We watched it in order of what we thought was the worst. And
We did a double feature. We would watch a good one and a bad one, right?
no, it was like we were like, let's start from like, okay, I think this one will be bad, and then we just like worked our way up to
Okay.
eventually
Oh yeah, you're
to
right. You're right.
Secret of Nim,
Hmm.
which is actually is probably still just the best movie. Um,
Oh yeah, no doubt.
but that's
Well, ain't
just
fucking Thumbelina.
yeah, like some of those '90s ones that he made are total garbage. Like they're just like it's just so funny that the first 4 movies he made. I know it's funny we're talking about Don Bluth in the Manhunter episode, but whatever.
I know.
But
That's our
like
show.
Secret of Dim, Land Before Time, American Tail, All Dogs Go to Heaven, like all like pretty good movies. Like not like there's problems with them, but for the most part, like pretty good. And then after that, you get like Rockadoodle and Troll in Central Park and Pebble and the Penguin and Thumbelina, just
Titan
fucking
AE.
yeah, terrible garbage. Just like one after another, just like some of the worst fucking
Boring garbage.
yeah, boring and terrible. Yeah, yeah. Anastasia, people like that one. Eh, you know.
I remember because I tried doing a similar thing with my roommate where we were gonna watch Don Bluth movies. I think we got a couple down. I think we just full on aborted watching
Yeah,
Anastasia.
you're
We just stopped. We're like, yeah, we're not finishing this one.
yeah. I
Anyway,
don't need
so
to learn about Russian history. It's fine.
yeah. So anyway, um, where am I at? Sorry, I'm looking at my notes.
Yeah, no problem. I think I mean, we covered a lot from the movie. I
Yeah,
guess
we're
like,
we're at the I think we're at the point where Will and Jack have an argument
mm,
about I think they want to leave or something, or they want to wait for the next lunar cycle or something, and then Will's
yeah,
able
yeah,
to he figures it out, like, oh shit, he's probably somebody who works for this film company.
hmm
Their argument is really good.
yeah.
I
Basically,
like.
they want like Jack Crawford, who's his partner, wants to just let him commit this murder, like kill like whomever he's going to kill at this point, and then find him, like nail him through that. Whereas Will is like, I want to prevent that from happening at
Yeah.
all. Like, I want to catch him before he murders. So it's like you understand both perspectives, even if it is like pretty fucked up to use like a
hmm
guy's murder cycles as like bait to nail him. But like, again, like
That
they
is,
have like hit such a dead end, and they've been like tricked and fucked over like multiple times at this point, that it might seem like kind of a desperate like Hail Mary to be like, okay, we can't, it's gonna happen tonight.
yeah.
We haven't gotten a chance to figure out without a shadow of a doubt who he is. Let's just hedge our
hmm
bets on next time. So
that was neat getting to watch this and being like seeing Dr. Chilton and Jack Crawford and being like, oh, that's the prick that underestimated Clarice, and that's the prick that lied
yeah,
to Lecter and said that they could move into a better cell.
hmm
hmm yeah, so Will figures it out. He pulls a Dr. Loomis, where he does a thing where he's driving and then realizes a piece of information and pulls a U-turn.
yeah.
Uh, mhm. Let's see. So
Oh, we gotta talk
the
about one
cop.
of those movies at some point.
Oh, absolutely. That's the long-running slasher franchises. I'm still working on how exactly we're going to cover those.
Yeah,
If we were just
that's
going to do
true.
a few of them, but I think what we would probably do for Halloween is watch the new trilogy of movies, the
Yeah.
ones that started in 2018, because those are newer, and I know you haven't seen any of them.
hmm Maybe we can do that on Halloween,
hmm
like
Oh
just
yeah.
or in October or whatever. We just do like
hmm
for that month. We'll just do like those movies.
Okay.
I think we did watch the first one, but that was obviously like a long time ago. That was like 7 years ago or
Yeah.
whatever when that movie came out.
We watched
So,
all of them.
well, yeah, but I mean the
Yeah.
first of the modern movies, like
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, in 2018, we watched a cam rip of it. It wasn't even the full like theatrical like HD version of it.
yeah,
A
yeah.
a, a cam rip that I did not film for anybody
hmm
who's
Yeah.
listening.
But if you did, it would have been cool as hell.
hmm But yeah, so the cops surround Dollarhide's place. Graham sees Reba, and he just like he does a fucking window dive, and it's like in slow
Mm.
motion with Inagata Devita playing. It's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I'll say that it is like, the climax of the movie having like Dollar Hyde, he kidnaps Reba, due to, misinterpreting like another coworker dropping her
She's
off.
talking to a coworker.
Yeah, as like, and he like invents this whole like romance in his mind, so he gets like angry because the,
hmm
again, he had like a beautiful night and made love with this woman, and for the first time it was like, okay, maybe he is like turning the leaf and not going to be a serial killer. And then like that happened, and
hmm
then he completely loses it again, and is like preparing her to gouge her eyes out and put the
Yeah.
mirror pieces into it. And then like, yeah, Inagata Devita. By the way, music in this movie crazy. Like,
I
the soundtrack is so good.
Literally, so I mentioned earlier before we were recording that I went to like an ice cream shop with my mom. There was a
Mhm.
record store right next to it, and you bet your ass that I was looking for the Manhunter soundtrack
Yeah,
to
yeah,
see if they had it.
because like all of the incidental music is super good, and then all of the like licensed music is
hmm
also extremely good. And
That's the most
like,
Miami Vice part of this movie for sure is the
yeah,
soundtrack.
oh for sure. And the like, one thing that's really cool is that a lot of the songs are diegetic. So like, yeah, they're being played, in the environment or
On
whatever.
radio or something.
Yeah, so like that, like he's putting on this like long ass song, on the radio
Hmm.
as he's like performing his like is just like getting things ready. So like, and as it like hits its crescendo is when Will breaks in, and then like the cops start raiding the place, and he's just like fucking blowing them away with a shotgun. Like
Hmm.
blows a guy's fucking hole in his head, which is pretty brutal for a movie that has
Yeah.
had like very little violence up until this point. Like that always surprises me when like I know the 80s there's a lot of splatter flicks, but this didn't feel like it felt like it was like not going for that. So like when
Oh God,
there was like
fucking RoboCop is
yeah, oh
bloodier than
yeah,
any slasher movie ever made.
yeah, and then also like whenever they say fuck, that
Hmm.
still catches me off guard for whatever reason in a like an 80s or 70s movie or whatever, like a mainstream movie.
This
Uh,
movie is so it's like sleek though. It feels like it could have been made like today. Like the
yeah.
filmmaking is so well done.
Mm. And yeah,
But
because the soundtrack sounds like it almost sounds like it's a throwback, like 80s, like oh, remember
mhm.
this is what 80s movies sounded like, but it's actually the genuine article. It is what
Yeah, it's
80s movies
cool.
sounded like,
Hmm.
so that's why I'm like, man, super good.
I hate that the nostalgia for this decade has lasted longer
Yeah.
for most of our lives.
Uh huh.
But hey, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I anyway, so Will is able to get the upper hand and riddles Dollarhide full of bullets. They established earlier that they gave him like some kind of new experimental bullets that like open up inside the target and release like a chemical or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and then the movie ends kind of like fairly abruptly. He goes back home and it ends on a freeze frame of them on the beach. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like my last note actually just says Molly owes him a slap,
Yeah.
which
He also gets a
yeah,
cool ass scar across the face. Let's say because
oh that's
like he
true.
uses the glass shard to try to like cut him, and it like and then he fuck. By the way, the dude who plays Tom Noonan, is that his name? Yeah, he's Frankenstein in Monster Squad, which I'm like that totally
Really?
makes sense because he's
Oh yeah.
a big fucking guy.
Hmm.
Apparently he got jacked for this role in the movie, and so there's a lot of things where I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense that he's able to like lift guys up and just like like he throws them into his fridge, and it like cracks
Hmm.
and all this stuff fall out. I will say this one thing I do distinctly remember from Red Dragon, the later movie, is I think they were very much inspired by the set design in this movie because like the locations like Will's house and Dollarhide's house look very similar to
Oh
how
really?
they do in the like the later movie. So I think that they were
Okay.
like they just basically took that because they're very like distinct. Especially Dollarhide's house seems like it would be like a cool like 80s 70s like camp
Yeah.
house or something like that you would go and stay
And
at.
the first house of the first family that's murdered, their house is really cool. It has like these like the staircase, the banisters are like acrylic or something. They're like clear
Mm-hmm.
tubes and shit. And there's
Yeah.
like a not a split level, but like one like the living room is a little bit lower and there's like a couple steps
Mm-hmm.
up to this other yeah, if you know what
Yeah, I like houses with stairs. Good time. A lot of
I mean.
stairs going on.
Especially in horror movies.
Yeah, you need the suspense. You need to build it. But
Hmm.
yes, big thumbs up. I very much enjoyed this movie.
That's the
It definitely made me want to go back and reread this and like Silence of the Lambs and everything,
mhm.
and then rewatch Silence of the Lambs, which we will do at some point for this podcast, because that's just like that's a one of those
It's a
classics.
classic.
Uh, but yeah, there you go, Cody. Where can we find you?
Well, don't you want to know what we're recording first?
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, what is our what is the
All right.
next movie that we are going to do for this
Well,
podcast?
Wyatt, our next movie, I think it's about time we actually do cover a slasher movie. It's, we're going on
Yeah.
11 episodes. So we're going to be talking about a 90s classic. Uh, Star two of the female leads are some of the most iconic actresses of the 90s. It spawned a beloved franchise. No, I'm not talking about Scream, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be watching I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Okay. Very little knowledge of this movie, so I'm excited to check it
Okay.
out. Um, but there you
And
go.
you can find me here on my YouTube channel. You can find me on Twitter. My name on there is Dave Howard. It's mostly opinions on Doctor Who at the moment.
Mm,
Let's see. I'm also on IMDb. You can find all the film projects that I've been in listed there, and most
yeah.
of them should be. I think some of them are for sale on DVD, and some of them are going to be released to streaming soon.
Yeah, I always appreciate when you post. There's like that lady who does the episode reviews that you, which she's an actor, right, from Doctor Who, where
Oh
she
yeah.
does
Hmm.
like this episode was absolutely lovely or whatever, like
It's
that.
Katie Manning. She was. It's a pity we didn't get to watch the story with her. She was a third Doctor.
Yeah, I was like, I don't 100% recognize her. She is old, but I don't recognize her necessarily. So she must be from some part that we didn't watch for
Mhm.
Doctors in Disgust. By the way, go on. It's Only
Which
Magic.
is
Check that
unfortunate
out.
because she probably is my favorite companion. That I mean, like
Yeah.
Sarah Jane is better with the Fourth Doctor. What was her name? Liz Shaw was the one in the first watch with them.
Yeah.
She's okay, but like Joe Grant is like for sure the best.
Like the
companion.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the one. Yeah. Go ahead. Go on Twitter. Twitter.com. Go on Twitter and Blue Sky Wasp Ranger WAZP Ranger. Mostly stream of consciousness stuff, but I do post about videos I'm making or podcasts I'm in. If you want to check out me and our friend Morgan, we do Cartoon Buffoons, which is going through every Cartoon Network show in order. There's been a huge fucking thing. We're like almost 50 episodes in, by the way, and we're like in 2006. So, long way to go. We have a lot of episodes to go. We are making progress, but it's, there's a lot. But yeah, check that out. Cartoon Buffoons over on It's Only Magic, my YouTube channel. If you want to get episodes a week early, donate $3 on the Patreon. Also, It's Only Magic. If you only got $1, that's fine. You can check out Wow Cool Robot, which is me and my friend Wayne going through every single robot in existence. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode of Horror Hole. Join us next time. We'll talk about I Know What You Did Last Summer. See you there.
All right. Peace out.